Hey everybody, it's Elizabeth from Silvernest Homeschooling, mom of four, homeschooling for 11 years, and so grateful for the opportunity to be able to hang out with you today and just take a deep breath and say, yes, we're almost done with our 11th year, and I'll be able to say 12 years, and my son is getting ready to graduate, my daughter's getting ready to go to her running start with the college for the final 2 years. It feels like we're on the home stretch and we're trying to get a lot accomplished in that amount of time, and really honestly trying not to get lazy, right? This is the time where it would be easier just to quit everything and stop and pull back. And one of the ways that we avoid doing that is by trying to mix a little bit of fun into our days. And so we have been watching a lot more for the classes that I teach. We're watching a lot more French movies in French, making sure we have some more audio, even bringing out a couple new resources to mix things up. But one of the ways I keep my youngest, who is in sixth grade, keep going is if she finishes books, she earns books. Now, that won't work for every child, right? But it works for her. And one of the ways we do that is by providing her with her current favorite series. And in this case, it double whammies down as an extra plus because they happen to be a history series and she loves them. And that combination has just been golden for us. So I got another book haul. That's what today is showing you the new books that we got in order to continue to keep our school sweet for this final trimester, or in your case semester, or final few weeks, or maybe you're already done. Congratulations. If you are, that's great. If you're not, or if you homeschool year round, adding a little bit of fun here and there. One of the things that have been working this week is extra fun snacks. Things that we don't normally do, throwing in a field trip, going to have a series of rewards that will be different than what before, going out for ice cream if we finish that whole book. And we are on the final stretch where I've got some kids that will be finishing up their curriculum. In our case, in our family, if you get your work for the year done early, we do not give you new work for the rest of the year. And so we might play more board games or etc. But I've got a couple kids that are on their home stretch of English and the home stretch of history, and that's exciting for us. So what is this great, wonderful series? You've already seen some before if you've been around here for any length of time. It is definitely the You Choose history. And so I'm going to turn the camera around and just take you through the new books that we got and that she's excited. She's already earned most of these books, but she is on her way to earning all of them. So here we go. If you don't know the You Choose series, they are a really fun slash hard way to understand. I mean hard as in like the topics can be hard because it's World War II and people die in World War II and you can die in these scenarios. But it keeps it short. It keeps it real in the sense that it has a lot of real pictures and real events and real situations that happen to real people. But you yourself are in charge of deciding your path. Often they have 3 story paths to choose from, and my daughter likes to keep her finger in the book because she wouldn't always respond the way the characters in the book would, so she goes back and picks the endings. But she loves the series. She's not a fan of World War II, so again, one of the nice things about this series is she can delve into places she wouldn't normally want to on her own go and read, but because she likes the series, then she will go there. So we have World War II and World War II infantrymen. Now this one was really interesting to me because I was just looking at the back. They talk a lot about, it's not just all from the American standpoint. So you can go work beside the Filipino soldiers. You can also work with the British Army, and you can also be part of the invasion in Normandy. So I really liked that about this. This isn't hitting it all from like one space. It's actually trying to hit more than that. And for the World War II, you actually are deciding if you want to be part of the Dutch resistance or the Canadian military or the U.S. Armed Forces. And since we've learned a lot about the Dutch resistance, that was very, very encouraging to me to find that as part of this. All right, then everyone's favorite, the Golden Age of Pirates. All the kids were so excited about this one. In fact, they're reading it out loud in the car, letting Daddy pick the choices, which was super fun. You're a member of England's Royal Navy trying to get rid of sea pirates, or you're sailing on a merchant ship loaded with treasure, or you're a pirate searching for riches and a better life. Again, they're hitting this from a realistic point of view of what life would really be like. This one we ordered. This is our library copy, but our personal copy is coming in. For a while, I didn't worry if they had it at the library. I didn't really order them, but she loves them so much that she's at the point where it's worth it to me to invest a few dollars. I'm buying these off thriftbooks.com. No affiliation links or anything, just that's where I'm happy to find them. So I'm getting them used, and that does help cut down the cost, as well as, I mean, I'm going to be paying for rewards in our family anyway, so might as well be books. All right, Titanic. You can try to save lives as members of a ship's medical crew, protect the children of your wealthy employer, or experience the disaster as a 12-year-old boy with inside knowledge of the ship. The Underground Railroad. A slave in the 1850s trying to escape, a slave catcher hoping to get rich, catching escaped slaves, or part of the Underground Railroad helping slaves escape to freedom. My daughter really admires the men and women that went back and rescued people over and over again, and so she was extra excited to get this and see how people can, you know, we have a game called Freedom, the Underground Railroad, and it's a cooperative game where we work together to try to rescue the slaves while changing the law to set everyone free. And my kids take that so seriously. They work hard. They don't let anybody go back south. So, all right, Battle of Bull Run. This is our first introduction to this topic. And fight as a Confederate soldier for the rights of the South, or do your part as a Union soldier to keep the United States together, or watch the battle from the sidelines and help wherever you can. And in this case, you can get killed watching on the sidelines. My husband was telling us the story how he went on a school trip down south, and they actually found barns that had cannons with the cannonballs still through them from the Civil War. So I have driven through the South, but we never stopped and saw any of the sites of that time period. World War II pilots. So you can see they do a lot of World War II. You can actually do a whole unit just using their books. Air Raid. You can fly with the Royal Air Force as a British pilot and fight in the Battle of Britain, or dogfight as an American fighter pilot over the Pacific Ocean, or join the Tuskegee Airmen and be one of the first African American aviators in the U.S. military. So yes, these were mostly written by Americans in America, but I do like the fact that they're trying to reach outside that box. And Anchors Aweigh, World War II. Serve in the German Navy and attempt to survive the sinking of the Bismarck. Experience the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor as a U.S. Marine. Or storm Ohama Beach as an American Navy landing craft on D-Day. They do have one that is completely devoted to Pearl Harbor that we also have, but we already ordered it, so it wasn't in this pile. Spies of World War II. I think this one came in an earlier set, but I grabbed it, so let's look and see. In this one, you can become a resistance fighter in Denmark, revealing Germany's false claims of protection, work as a double-cross agent, pledging loyalty to one country but actually spying for another, or join the U.S. Office of Strategic Services, shuttling weapons to allies sabotaging German transportation. Not her favorite. Again, the World War II ones are not her favorite, but important. Great Depression. March on Washington, D.C. as a veteran member of the Bonus Army. Leave your home to find a better life by riding the rails, or help rebuild the country as a Civilian Conservation Corps member. And next year we're doing history, ancient and world history. So we have started to collect the Choose Your Own Adventures that have to do with that. Instead of this year, the whole pile is mostly been built on the fact that we're studying American history with her. But since we'll be moving over, so we were able to pick up ancient Rome, which is one she's been waiting for a while. Choose between politics and business as a wealthy Roman man. Explore your option as a young woman of Rome. Experience the siege of Rome as a Roman peasant. And finally, because of American history, the Dust Bowl. So in this case, you can stay on your farm and try to survive the Dust Bowl, leave the farm and try your luck elsewhere, or document the horrors of the Dust Bowl as a government photographer. So yeah, not necessarily the easiest topics, but a really good way to experiencing them and feeling like you have some choices. The creativity of how they put these together, the accuracy of the information. She reads a lot of history books, and so she's able to actually go back and say, no, this didn't happen, or yes, that did happen. And she really likes the Horrible History series, and we've been using Knotgrass American History this year, and so that combined with the other books that she's reading and has read, she's able to kind of go through and see what is true and what is not true and what this person said versus that person said. I feel like that's really important in history because the teller of the tale is often the one who is helping form our worldview, and so it's important for our family to hit it from different sides. And in fact, we actually use some of the Horrible History to go through and say why we don't agree and don't, we have enough evidence backed up to say that isn't actually what happened, or they're definitely telling it with a certain bent in mind. So yeah, that's one thing that we're doing to keep going strong in this final hurrah. I'm getting ready to put together the curriculum choices for next year, and so keep tuned for those. I know you're probably either deciding or pushing it way off in the summer. There's nothing wrong with not making any decisions now. And there's nothing wrong with saying everything's working, we're going to keep it, which is something we might be doing a lot of that for next year. We are making a lot of shifts with just our life is completely changing as we are getting ready to send kids off and out. And so I think, again, I want this channel to be a channel where we show you what has worked for us, what hasn't worked for us, and try to capture those 11 years before I forget what they are. And I'm only, again, able to do these because I do have older kids. And so if you're in the thick of it, if you're working hard, trying to find good solutions, if you have any questions, is there something that specifically would be helpful for you? We'd love to hear about it in the comments. You can hit like, subscribe, all the things. If this is useful for you, share it to other people. And I hope no matter what, you have a fantastic rest of your day, that this was a break and a rest. And remember, you don't need all the things, but these are the things that are working for us. So hope that helped. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Bye.